let's take this a level further. Standing up for yourself means that the relationship is going to die. It's going to end because you stood up for yourself. If you were in a relationship and you felt that you were being demeaned, disrespected, or treating the lesser of the person that you are, standing up for yourself will 100% destroy the relationship. Hey guys, it's Prince Kerr for Howell Consultations. Let's get right into this video. I hope everybody's having a good week. I hope everybody is treating themselves with the respect that they deserve. I hope everybody is just spreading love and being the person that they could look in the mirror and say, this is me. I hope that in this moment, everybody's taking care of themselves, taking care of their loved ones, and spreading the love that they want to see in this world. A lot of times we complain about not getting enough from people or not getting enough out of a situation, but we also have to ask ourselves, are we given enough? A lot of times we expect so much in return from giving so little. This is like, planting one seed and expecting acres of crops to just multiply and appear for us when really we didn't do the work to get the acres of land that we wanted to get. So I hope everybody's just being conscious of how much they're putting out in the world and what they're receiving. And I hope everybody understands that you're always going to get what you put in to a certain extent. If you see in your life that you keep receiving or perceiving things as negative, maybe it's time to take a step back and look at what you're putting out in the world. Because a lot of times what we see is a reflection of what we're giving. So we're in situations that are a direct mirror of what we're putting out there. We're always putting messages in the universe. What you're getting back is what the world is talking back to you. So you're saying one thing and you're getting back another thing because of what you're saying. So if you change your conversation, you're going to change what you're getting from the world. What I really wanted to discuss today was relationships and the significance of relationships and our perception of relationships. We tend to believe that the way we feel at the beginning of the relationship is the way that we should always feel. We tend to believe that the way that we began the relationship is how the relationship should end. But in most cases, not only is that not healthy, but that is very unlikely. It is important to accept that everything that is alive grows, changes, and morphs into something else. Think of this like a caterpillar. Eventually it transforms and goes into a cocoon. And then after the cocoon, it becomes the butterfly. This whole process was one process of life. It's not three different individuals that went through that process. It's one process of life, one process of love. Like the video. The way that a relationship started is not the way necessarily that a relationship is going to end. Life changes. Everything alive changes. Not all relationships were meant to last forever. We get into relationships and we start to think like this is exactly the way it should be forever. This person's gonna look like this, act like this, talk like this forever. It's very important to consider that life is always happening. Everything is always a constant. Things are always moving. Whether we can see it or not, things are always going somewhere. So for us to believe that something is going to stay exactly the same, or we're going to get the exact same feelings that we always got from a certain type of person is ludicrous, quite frankly, because nothing alive ever stays the same. The best way to accept that this is going to change is to understand that not only is the situation changing, you're changing as well. So it's just to adapt to the moments that you are going through and to always be in the present. Because in the present, you are facing the reality of what the situation is. And if you can appreciate what is right now, whatever that may be, then you could appreciate that the relationship is there for a reason in your life right now. Not all relationships were meant to last forever. We tend to get into a feeling of bliss and believe that this is exactly what is going to last forever. Life is always happening, and anything that is alive is always changing. It's always becoming. The best way to maintain a relationship is to change with the times. The strong moments that created the bond is not the strong moments that is going to maintain the bond going forward. This is like being an artist. So let's say you're a superstar artist and you made a hit song And when you made the hit song, the whole world listened to it. You had 36 kajillion downloads. You toured everywhere around the world off of that one song. And then 10 years later, you want the same type of attention and expect the same reflection in the market when everything is completely changed. The way people consume music is different. Why they consume music is different. The effect that you had on that population is not the same effect that you're going to have now. Why? Because things change. And the only way that you're going to maintain yourself as this hypothetical artist is to change as well. This is the same thing in relationships. I'm doing myself a disservice if I'm expecting for someone to treat me like who I was 10 years ago when I was just a child, with the mistakes that I did, with even the great things that I did. It would be of much better benefit to myself if someone could understand who I am at this moment, the things that I'm going through at this moment, and reciprocate the energy that I'm exuding at this moment. Sometimes someone is in our life so that we can learn a lesson. You can start to look at your life and say, why am I going through what I am going through? What am I supposed to learn in this moment, right? Now, take this premise and attach it to relationships. Not all relationships are meant to last forever. So a specific relationship that you went through in the past and you're wondering, why didn't this work? And I wish I didn't do this, or I wish I didn't do that. Maybe everything happened the way that it was supposed to happen for you to learn something. What are you avoiding to learn by clouding your mind with things that you wish you would have done? By clouding your vision with things that you wish you could have said? What are you missing? Those things that once were are not today for a reason. Maybe you had to go through the first so-called error, let's call it a lesson, so that when the test actually came, or the real version of what you were looking for actually presents itself, you're able to make better actions or commit yourself better to that situation. All of the failures that happened in the past relationships are what's going to make the successes of this relationship. Not everything is supposed to last forever. We tend to get attached to these emotions. We tend to get attached to these people that we feel are supposed to be in our lives. But in reality, they're there to teach you something. They're there to guide you to a certain place. And just like in a video game where there's a character that appears, brings you to the next level, and then after they brought you to the next level, their mission is done. You're not gonna keep seeing this character until the end of the game. They brought you to the next level. It's your job to continue to the next level. Maybe there's gonna be another character in level 2 that is gonna help you defeat the big bad guy or the big life test, but it's not gonna be the same character, and it's not going to be the same issue that you're dealing with in level 2 that you went through in level 1. Why are we begging to go back and deal with situations that we've already dealt with? If we moved on from a situation, it's because that situation is not supposed to be in this time. Like the video. All this to say that not all things are supposed to last forever. Maybe the lesson that you learned from the relationship will be a lesson that will stay with you forever. But the relationship itself, the situation itself, was there just to teach you that lesson. It wasn't to haunt you so that you can be sad for the rest of your life, or even to inspire happiness for the rest of your life. It was just a lesson so that you can learn to treat yourself better, to treat the world better, to have a better conversation with the universe, to float in life as opposed to be crawling on your knees in confusion. Sometimes we refuse being ourselves completely because we feel that if we are ourselves completely, if we say exactly what we think, if we do exactly what we feel that we should do in any moment in a relationship, that would destroy the relationship completely. But it is important to accept and to appreciate that at any time in life that a relationship is ended because you stood up for yourself means that the relationship was never supposed to be in the first place. If you lose someone because you stood up for yourself, that person was not supposed to be in your life. It sounds very simple, but when you're going through it, you don't understand. You're like, why is this happening? Why is this person being like this to me? Why is this person treating me in this type of way? And you're treated in a certain type of way because you're accepting to be treated in that type of way. And because you're accepting to be treated in that demeaning or sometimes even disrespectful way. That is the reason that the relationship has been able to be maintained for 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, and it's because you haven't been your complete self. But when you finally stand up for yourself and say, listen, I don't like being treated like this, or you say, listen, this is not how we're going to continue this relationship. When you stand up for yourself and you make yourself known, you make your ideas known, you make your feelings become heard because you're putting it in reality and you're not holding it and bottling it up. If that makes a person leave you, or if that means that it's the end of a relationship, that person is not supposed to be in your life. Let's take this a level further. Standing up for yourself means that the relationship is going to die. It's going to end because you stood up for yourself. If you were in a relationship and you felt that you were being demeaned, disrespected, or treating the lesser of the person that you are, standing up for yourself will 100% destroy the relationship. When we say destroy the relationship, it's going to destroy the relationship as it is. If you wanted to maintain the relationship and continue to be demeaned, it's just going to cause some confusion. If you want to continue to live as lesser than who you are so that you can have the attention of that person, that's going to change, because now, are you standing up for yourself or are you not standing up for yourself? What's it going to be? That's one way. But the second way is that if the person actually hears you out, if the person actually was treating you in a certain type of way because they just didn't know that you wanted to be treated differently, the relationship is going to die, but it's going to die so it can be reborn. It's going to be reborn just like a flower that has just been planted because there's a new seed that has been watered and nurtured and the sun was shining just right on it. It's going to be reborn as something beautiful because now there's two parties that are giving information, that are providing to make this relationship something that is beautiful as opposed to something that is one-sided. Now, relationships are not just with other people. The most important relationship is the relationship that you have with yourself. The relationship that you have with yourself is the influence to the relationship that you're going to have with other people. If you treat yourself badly, if you don't give yourself the love that you want to be given, you're never going to receive that love from anyone else, because people are going to treat you according to how you treat yourself. People are going to respect you only as much as you show that you respect yourself. If you talk bad about yourself, if you put yourself in bad situations, if all of your associations are negative or demeaning, if people can just talk anyhow about you, even into your face, that just teaches new people and prospective people that want to be in your life that you don't deserve anything. Why should they go out of their way to give you a respect that you don't even give to yourself? If you don't protect yourself, help yourself, how are you going to help others? This is like trying to save someone that is drowning by jumping into the ocean and not knowing how to swim. Your intentions were great, but you have no idea how to swim. So now it's two people drowning as opposed to one person drowning. If you worked on yourself, if you learned how to swim, then you can see a problem and say, I'm going to be the solution for that problem. If you don't, you're just a walking problem waiting to happen. Unlike a relationship that you have with someone else, unlike a relationship with an ex or with a friend that you don't speak with anymore, you're never going to leave yourself. You're the one that has to wake up every day and look yourself in the mirror. You're the one that goes to sleep at night alone by yourself. You're the one who has to go through your own thoughts. So you can never really leave you like other relationships in your life. You are with you in the beginning and you will be with you until the end. And this is why standing up for yourself is such an important element to any relationship that will be created with anyone else. Because you are who you got at the end of the day. Like the video. In recent times, we've seen people go as far as getting canceled for standing up for what they believed in. It is important to know the boundaries and the limitations of the situations that you're a part of so that you could stand up for yourself in the right way. It does not mean to be abrasive and to just go out clashing with everybody because of what you believe in. It just means to be conscious of where you stand so that you're able to move strategically in any situation that you present yourself in. When you stand up for yourself, you can start to have good relationships with other people. Although it sometimes feels like if you stand up for yourself, it's going to be the destruction of a relationship. If you say what you really feel, it's going to be the end of a relationship. We feel that way. But if you don't stand up for yourself, the relationship with you is never going to be what it ultimately could be. And you're never going to really be a representation of your genuine self at all times or at any times, because you're always going to be subject to another person's thoughts, another person's belief, and the idea that another person has of you, as opposed to you just being you. This means to understand the situations that you are in so that you can strategically make moves to go forward. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. I'm going to be doing more videos in person by popular demand. If you have any topics or ideas that you want me to speak about, let me know in the comment section and we can have a video done about it. I'll see you next time on In This Moment with Prince Kerr. Like the video,